Hello, everyone. My name is Jaisha Jones, and today I will be discussing the Board of Education of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District versus Rowley case. So, to start off, we have Amy Rowley and her parents as the plaintiff, and the Hendrick Hudson Central School District Board of Education as the defendant. So just some background on the case. So Amy Rowley was a student who suffered from deafness in a public school in Peaksville, New York. So basically, when Amy was in kindergarten, her parents began to collaborate with administration to start setting up an IEP plan for her. So once she reached, excuse me, once she reached the first grade, she had a new IEP plan in which her parents urged to provide for the school to provide services for her to have a sign language interpreter in the classroom. So after a 2-week trial period, her parents realized that Amy did not receive these services in the classroom. So with that being said, her parents urged administration again to provide those services, and the school administration refused the request, stating that Amy did not need an interpreter in the classroom. So Amy's parents sought administrative and judicial review of the school's decision and argued that Amy could only understand about 60% of the oral language available to hearing students in the class, which is why she needed to have a sign language interpreter to kind of make up for that extra 40% that she was missing. So they said that without an interpreter, she would be denied the educational opportunity available to her other classmates. So a hearing officer was brought into the case and declared that Amy was entitled to an interpreter. But of course, the school decided that they wanted to get a judicial review over this. So a federal trial court in New York ruled, and the Second Circuit affirmed that Amy was being denied the opportunity to achieve her potential at a level that was provided to other children. So, this this case ended up going to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court reversed actually the ruling that the Second Circuit affirmed. Sorry, I can't talk today. And so the Supreme Court rejected the Section 504 standard and found that Amy was receiving an educational benefit sufficient enough to meet the FAPE requirement. And so they said that the instruction, according to the court, the instruction needed only conferred some educational benefit. And so they said that the reason that Amy benefited educationally was demonstrated by her passing grades in individual subjects and her grades to grade progress. So basically they were saying that because she still was achieving well and up to standard, she didn't need the extra assistance as far as it went for having a sign language interpreter. So they declared that school boards were not required to maximize the potential of handicapped children with the opportunity provided to other children. So basically, they didn't think that Amy was entitled to a sign language interpreter in the classroom. Excuse me. So with that being said, some implications that I have for this case really was just to tighten up on the laws that we have set in place for special education students. Because in this case, as you can see, the Supreme Court was able to kind of justify a law while like being able to find those loopholes within it without completely, being able to ignore the case or the law. So I would just say making sure that regardless of if the student is achieving well or not, still being able to provide them with those services that they need if they're stating that it is going to help them reach their full potential academically. My personal position on this is that was absolutely horrible. Like, regardless of if she had passing grades and her grades were excelling and they were amazing, if she saying that she could only understand 60% of what was going on in the classroom, clearly that means that she needed help. She needed something more to allow her to reach that 100% potential that she needs to be successful in the classroom. These findings will impact me as a future counselor, just because I want to ensure that I'm assisting students with disabilities and without to reach their full potential. So whether it is advocating for them and ensuring that they receive all of those services that they need to be academically successful. And so, yeah, that was the end of my case. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks.